While in the aggregate people don't change, meaning the hardware of the person, the magnitude of the generation gap can vary in different time periods, depending on where on the inflection point of technological progress the species is at the moment. So, for example, a generation for whom technology stayed fairly stable until the point when their neuroplasticity diminished, it's going to seem more obsolete in their mental toolkit than a generation that was born in the midst of rapid technological advancement. A generation may see more technological progress per unit of time than another. And if that change occurs all through a person's time of neuroplasticity, it can narrow the generational skills gap. We all become less in touch with the latest technology, or we tend to with age. But how much depends on what technology was doing through your youth. How much the technological change brings mental obsolescence depends on how dissimilar the new and old technologies are. Does the whole mode of operation and interface change, or is it just similar but with greater capabilities? To the extent that the identity is made up of mental impressions, it's born of the experience of change. When that change accelerates and gives rise to things that countervail or threaten the ideas that form the conceptual self, there's suffering. It's like we go through time clawing at the walls of it and putting parts of it into our identity. To the extent that time threatens those things, we experience pain in the face of change. The source of that pain is not in each individual challenge, or it's not permanently addressed through the addressing of each individual challenge or pain point in the face of change, but rather it has to be approached from the experiencer side, because that's just one point to deal with, as opposed to every potential flaw that is one perceives in their reality, and there's even their character, vices and imperfections and things to be improved upon. The addressing of all those things is always temporary. The apparently successful addressing of all those things is temporary, because everything is impermanent. There's a type of logic that, when internalized as a reality, breaks the connection between the emotional state and the fate of things in the world. The change that comes from that doesn't have to change the ideas that could be engaged and used. It just changes the way those ideas are treated and the power they have over feelings. And in that view, there's a lack of suffering. By seeing perfection. It's the isness of things that makes them perfect, by virtue of their origin being in the first cause that defines perfection. But for an individual, perfect is relative to the mind's ideal. Two people can see the same event, and one see perfection, and the other see catastrophe. The one who sees perfect is correct, but for the wrong reason. And that means when circumstances change, it will prove their joy to be temporary. But the one who sees perfection by virtue of having no lens of conceptual self through which to behold it, will always see perfection and feel the light of the truth on their spiritual heart. That's all.